Excellent!
What's up guys, if you watched my channel last week then you saw my garage work log where I did a bunch of cleaning and organizing, but one of the upshots was that I ended up with this box labeled LEDs that is now full of LEDs, conveniently enough. So today I'm just gonna kind of play with LEDs for a while. That's really the long and short of it. I'll talk a little bit about LEDs and what I know of them. I'll do a journey of discovery for stuff that I don't know about them. And I will ideally be actually doing some LED lighting, at least in the top shelf here. I'm probably not going to get everything done today because what I want to do is try out different solutions for setting up LED lighting, whether it's inside a case or whether it's like LED accent lighting on a desk. I'm doing the desk version today, but what I originally planned was to get the NZXT Hue and actually set it up connected to my computer so that when I turn the computer on, like all of the lights lit up at the same time, and then I could go in and change the RGB settings on them and everything. I was going to use an NZXT Hue Plus for that. I had actually been in contact with NZXT about that, but I kind of dropped the ball and I didn't request my sample in time and they ran out. And now, even though I'm willing to just buy them, I can't find the damn things anywhere. So anyway, point being that today I'm just going to kind of take LEDs that I already have on hand. I've got some from Cablemod, although that's an empty box, but Cablemod. I've got some BitFenix, and I even have this right here, which is somehow the original NZXT Hue, which is still not even been opened before. So I'll do some messing around with that too, and you know, maybe there'll be a resurgence of interest in the original Hue. Out of the box again, this is the old Hue, not the Hue Plus, which means it's got a 5 1/4 inch bay adapter thingy up on here. You can use the 3 knobs, red, green, and blue, to adjust the actual color. So turning the green knob will make there be more green or less green, for example. Same goes for blue and red. So like if you turn the blue, I imagine if you turn them all the way up it should turn white, right? The strip it comes with is also like super long. It's probably a good 6 feet long total. And then you can also do stuff like, what does this do? Oh, pressing and hold the center button to turn it on and off. And then this button here will cycle through different levels of brightness. So you can make it pretty bright too, or it goes back to dim. And then lastly, this one you can tap to like, go into like crazy, have a heart attack mode. Oh, that's nicer. Fade in and fade out. You can do a color cycle just by switch, or color cycle by fading as well. So you got all the basic kind of color modes you have in there. Although honestly, all I really want to be able to do is just do solid color lit up in the background there, and then be able to change that color when I want to. So this could be also a viable option for that. I probably just need to mount this unit like underneath the desks at the edge so I can actually have access to it. Let's begin by answering a long debated question, which is when you have an RGB LED strip like this one, this is a Cablemod one by the way, and you plug it into a non-RGB LED source, what happens? It turns red. Most of the time when you have LEDs, at least most LEDs that are designed to go in computers are going to be 12 volt because that is the typical voltage that most computers provide. They're able to provide 5 volts as well, but most of the stuff internally that you see does use 12 volt, but you should check one way or another. The easy way to check if you have a 5 volt source is just to plug in the LED and turn it on. If you have a 12 volt LED plugged into a 5 volt source, it will simply be dim. However, if you have a 5 volt LED and you plug it into a 12 volt source, it will die. So that is something you should definitely be aware of. Again, most of these LEDs are 12 volts, but if you buy off the like stuff from the store, like IKEA has an LED set that you can buy, those run on lower power 5 volt. So trying to interchange the two on the same system will not work. And that's just something you should watch out for. The other nice thing about LEDs is you can daisy chain them together. Although how many you can daisy chain together is going to be based on, well, the LED strips themselves as well as wherever your source is, your source of power. But I could even do stuff like this. Oh, that's interesting. This one is now trying to be white or something. I don't know what color it's trying to be. It's definitely not white because I can see, maybe it is trying to be white. It looks kind of red and blue in there. But that's an interesting, that's interesting. See, I'm learning things. I don't know what I'm learning, but I'm learning something. So if I plug this in directly, is it still going to be white? This is an RGB one again, by the way. Nope. Plug it back in, just nothing's going to happen. That or I broke something. Alright, so I've got all, well not all, but a nice representation of the LED strips that I have out here in front. I'm gonna go over each one from the bottom to the top, starting with this one. This is a longer one, 60 centimeters long, and this is the Cablemod RGB LED strip that they sent over for me to use, along with the Asus Maximus 8 Formula, which has an RGB LED header. You'll notice, apart from this one being longer than the others, well, it's RGB, although I'm not plugging it into an RGB source right now, so it's just going to be red. You'll also notice like the spacing of the LEDs, you know, they're fairly close together. That's something else you might look at. And then as far as connection goes, this one uses an adhesive strip, so it's got 3M material on the back. You peel that off to stick it to wherever you're going to stick it, which works pretty well because you can, you know, attach it to pretty much any surface that would accept that type of, you know, adhesive material. However, you do have other options as well. So this one is also from Cablemod, and this is one of their newer ones that is part of their magnetic series. So this one's also RGB. All right, so again here you got pretty much a 30 centimeter version of this longer one here that I showed you at first, except you might notice spaced out here, there are actually magnets that you can see through the film. So if you take something metal, like my knife right there, hey, it sticks onto it. It's pretty nice. Magnetic LED strips are super handy. If you have a steel case, don't use them with aluminum because they won't work with aluminum. But I definitely like them. Cablemod is not the first ones to come out with an RGB, or with it. Well, I don't know if they're the first with an RGB LED magnetic strip, but this one here is from BitFenix. This is part of their Alchemy 2.0 series. And I've had this one for a little while, although I haven't really done much with it so far. But this one also has LEDs, well, LEDs of course. This one also has magnets added in there every so often. This one happens to be purple, although it's available in red, green, blue, white, and I think some other colors as well. But again, this one has the magnets, so you can stick it to whatever you want. If you have something metal, you know, it sticks to it, so easy to position in your case and move around and all that good stuff. Kyle actually, on his channel on Awesome Sauce Network, did a pretty nice comparison between the BitFenix and the Cablemod RGB LED strips. The nice thing BitFenix did was the actual cable extensions that came with it. They put a magnet on that too, right on that point where it connects, so that helps with your cable management as well, which, you know, nice little bonus feature. Anyway though, that's the purple one from BitFenix, Alchemy 2.0. Now we're moving on to more obscure ones that you probably can't just get. So we're moving into my Taipei collection that I have curated over the past couple years. Because I go to Taiwan, I wander into the electronic stores, I see LEDs, and I'm like, ooh, LED strips, I should buy them. This one is blue, although it is looking fairly white on the camera, so I don't know what the deal is with that. It's fairly bright as well. The nice thing about these is they're cheap. These are like $3 or $4 each. $2 to $4, I mean, depending which shop you go into and that kind of thing. You might notice though that you know, they don't look quite as nice just looking at them. They have that white backing. And then I have a couple other ones here. That one was blue, but I also have a couple other colors. And these other colors, you know, since they're white in the back and they're just getting older, they've started to kind of fade and discolor a little bit. So if you have them positioned somewhere in the case where, you know, that's not very visible, then, you know, that won't be an issue. But something to bear in mind. And you can tell why the companies selling in the US have gone with this black backing more recently. But these, of course, also available in different colors, and I've gotten a variety, and I've used them in a few different builds and that kind of thing, but there's a nice green one. One thing you might notice if you're comparing these strips, say for instance to this BitFenix strip, is going to be density of LEDs. So this one, if you count them, has 15 LEDs going all the way across, whereas these only have 12. So that's another thing, you know, whereas you get what you pay for, you're paying a little bit less money for these. You get fewer LEDs, but they're still nice and bright, and they still work just fine. So, you know, I'm happy to have them. However, now that I'm doing the RGB LED thing, I'm going to probably find less use for them. Here's a couple more kind of unique ones that I found there that I picked up just last year. So you'll notice these do have the black backing on them. So, you know, most of these are probably also manufactured in Taiwan. So, you know, those places do have the cool manufacturing techniques that give you the more stealth looking background. This one is a double wide, so it's pink. Which also hopefully is showing up okay on camera. And you get 2 LEDs going along the whole way. So, I mean, that's kind of unique. Although one of them is out. There's one out. That's right there. You see? Anyway. Lastly, we have another black. Actually, I have more than these. I have like stacks of these back here. These are in the bags they come in and stuff. And I've tried to like label them. if you go into this, I don't know how many of you are going to be in Taiwan anytime soon, but if you go into the store, most of the little electronic stores have stations where you can bring the LEDs you're going to buy up to them and plug them in and test them. That way you can verify what color they are and everything. But here's a nice green one that I got, which maybe I'll use in my wife's build, actually, because her build might end up being green soon, or it might be orange, in which case I can't use this. But again, that's just an example of a very similar LED strip, say for instance to like the BitFenix. Pretty close. This one actually even has a higher density of LEDs. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This has 18 LEDs along that 30 centimeter strip. So obviously there's a huge variety that's available. You just gotta pick your poison. So I think what I've decided to do for now is use the NZXT original hue. It's got this really long LED strip that I think will work perfect, at least for the top shelf back there. It's also got an independent control unit, so I can easily, turn it on and off and adjust the LEDs. Granted, there are, remote control units and that kind of stuff. But hey, again, I was trying to use what I have here to get myself going rather than having to go out and buy anything or that kind of thing. In the same vein, if you guys are looking to set up LED lighting yourselves, and maybe you have already got the LEDs, but you're like, I have the LEDs, now what? Well, you're going to need a power source. So I've got an old power supply here. This is my ex-roommate's old system's power supply that I pulled out. It's a Z-Sonic. It's actually even 80 plus bronze rated, so I have no problems here. What I would want coming off of this is a Molex plug. I don't have one, but I do have SATA plugs. That's fine. It's going to work for me because that's what the original Hue uses. You would want to, if you're doing this, run a Molex plug off of there, and then you'd want to set up a basic little solution kind of like this. You get a Molex fan adapter. These are very, very common to get along with computer cases or just as accessories, or you can buy one online for $1 or something. This has a lead coming off of it for fan power, just the red and the black here. The red is connected incidentally to the yellow cable, which is 12 volts. By the way, on the Molex plug, the yellow is 12 volt, the red is 5 volt, the blacks are ground. Anyway, those two are coming off of there, the 12 volt and the ground. And then I just spliced them together like I showed you guys earlier, splicing that and making sure I connect the red to the line with the stripe on it, connect the black to the ground. And then you should just be able to plug that in and run your LEDs at full power, full brightness. The power supply you're going to need to jumper or hot wire, so to speak. Which is a fairly common practice if you do PC building, but not all of you are probably familiar with how to do it. But you get a standard power supply, make sure it's not plugged in, unplugged and turned off ideally. You want to look at the 24-pin cable here, and you will notice a green wire. And then look next to it, there should be black wires. I usually use the black wire right next to it, but all the black wires are grounds, so any of those should work. So in my hand here I have a simple little piece of paper clip. I've clipped it down to a very small size and I've kind of crimped it into a little V shape, and I'm going to use that to basically jumper between that green cable that I've already located and one of the black ground wires next to it. I usually use the one just to the right if you're looking at the clip side, and that's how that works. And then we will be safe and we'll put a little piece of electrical tape over the top of that just to hold it in place and make sure we've got some insulation, at least a little bit of insulation over the top. Now we are jumpered. Now this power supply is hot, so to speak, or it will be hot when it's plugged in and turned on. Anyway, fan spins up, power supply should be on, unless it's one of those fancy power supplies where the fan doesn't spin up unless you've actually done something to it, like making it get hot. All right, so then I can just connect my my SATA power here. Ta-da! And now I have power for my LEDs. Alright, so I think last thing I'm going to do here is install these back here and give you guys a look at how it turns out. Installation for the NZXT Hue was dead simple, and I must say it's extremely cathartic after having spent so much time with these 3M strips, like protecting them and not using the adhesive and being like, I have to protect the adhesive for when I actually use it. Actually peeling it all off and sticking it to the back of that shelf was pretty nice. It's working for me for now, but I'm definitely not like sold on it for sure. I will go over a few of the things that I still want to do, just looking at how everything looks. And I would have done this all today, but in all honesty, I have to do my taxes this week, and my friend is getting married in a couple months, and his bachelor party is also this week. So I'm pretty packed in as far as stuff goes. But don't worry, I will be back on over the weekend, most likely on Saturday, with a probing Paul episode. So send me some questions if you guys are interested in that. And in the meantime, what I will be doing in the future is, first off, of course, repositioning all this foam back here. It's not terrible, but it's not straight on this side, and I think I'm just going to go all vertical with all of it. I think that'll look kind of cool with the lights behind there. Not sure what to do about this hot spot right here on my little wood protector cover piece. It's, you know, I don't know, I'll figure it out. The NZXT hue itself is sitting right there, which is not the best place for it, but it's there for now. And I'm super embarrassed that you can actually see some of the ketchup and mustard cables from the power supply there. I'd like to maybe undermount that whole thing down here or something like that. And then of course I do want to do lighting along this lower shelf in the back as well, but this was kind of a tester and just playing around with LEDs and having a good time. That's all for this video. I had a ton of fun. I hope you guys did as well. If you did, do me a solid and hit the thumbs up button down there. Also down in the section down below, you can leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of this video and if you have any ideas of what I should do with my RGB or LED solutions in the future. Also, you can check out the links in the description for my Amazon link, which you can click before you shop at Amazon. That is an awesome way to help me out. Or you can check out my store.paulshardware.net, where you can buy shirts, mugs, pint glasses. I also now have a zip-up hoodie, as well as some polo shirts, and I have a brand new shirt coming out next week, so I'm very excited about that one. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. And that will allow me to look at the pin, the pin itself. Will also allow me to snap things off and hit myself in the eye. I'm going to leave that in because that was unplanned. Pin it, pin it.